Yo Joes, welcome back to the 80s Toy Museum. Taking a look at a missing piece today, one that I have been waiting a very long time to complete. The Dreadnoks are a motorcycle gang, and I've never had motorcycles for this motorcycle gang. I've got the vintage Dreadnoks here. I've also got some of the modern ones, modern versions of them that I'll be bringing out as well. In 1987, they did give the Dreadnoks a bike, but it was this thing, Dreadnok Cycle. It's a two-seater, it's a three-wheeler, and it just didn't get the job done for me. I always wanted my Dreadnoks to have hogs, and I'm not talking about this kind of hog, and I'm not talking about this kind of hog. I'm talking about a Harley, and I'm not talking about the greatest wrestling champion on God's green earth.
Wrestling personified.
I'm talking about the real deal, Harley-Davidson motorcycles. There have been many 1/18th scale motorcycles over the past few decades. Here's a look at some of them. And I always passed on them because I really wanted Harley-Davidsons for the Dreadnoks, or at least something that kind of looked like a Harley-Davidson. So I did actually pick up two of them at the one-of-a-kind Woodstock Antique Mall a couple of weeks ago. I thought these would be great for Zorana and Xandar. But there is a new line of Harley-Davidson motorcycles that I've spotted at Toys R Us, and it took me a couple of visits to Toys R Us to hunt down all 6 of them. There's 6 unique Harley-Davidson motorcycles, and they're really affordable. The thing I really like about these is that they ran about, well, I think 12 or 13 bucks Canadian. So I would imagine about $10 American. And they're not, even though they're by Maisto, you can see the brand name right there, they feel more like a toy than a model. And that's really nice for when you're using it for a G.I. Joe action figure, because the models can be very fragile and break, and these are made of plastic that has quite a bit of give to them. I've seen little 1/18th scale motorcycles in the past that would have snapped with just this amount of pressure, and this will take what I'm always looking for is a fall off a shelf. If you can take a fall off a shelf and not shatter and break, then that's my kind of toy. That's why I prefer toys over models, although even though these are more toy than model, they have vac metal chrome on them, beautiful shiny metal-like parts that are actually plastic, and they even have a working kickstand on them. So the reason I waited so long to get these is there have been other options, but they were more pricey, more fragile, and also too identical. The Dreadnoks are a ragtag bunch, and I just never liked the idea of them all riding the exact same motorcycle. So I feel like there have been opportunities over the last, whatever it's been, 30 years, 40 years, of getting motorcycles, but I didn't want them all riding matching motorcycles. It's just too uniform, too organized for them. So Maisto putting out this set of 6 different Harley-Davidson motorcycles was when I finally decided to pull the trigger. Won't break the bank to get all 6 of them. This one was really hard to find for some reason. This one was the last one that I hunted down with the windshield in the front there. And the face shield makes it stick out from all the other bikes. Makes it look like the lead bike. And that would be a good bike for Zartan to protect his face, since he is the face man of the Dreadnoks. And hello, gorgeous. These are beautiful. Beautiful sculpts. Really beautiful price, too. I thought this one, they all have kickstands on them underneath that will swing out. I thought this one was missing a kickstand, but it's not. It actually has this stand on the back wheel here. And a closer look before I start putting Dreadnoks on all of these. It looks so awesome having them all lined up like that. It's such an important part of the Dreadnoks. The biker gang having their bikes. I always see bikes like this all lined up outside of a bar, or see them lined up in movies for biker gangs. It's been way too long that these Dreadnok figures have not had motorcycles. So let's start saddling them up. I'm going to start with the leader of the gang, Zartan. Get rid of his weapons and his stand. And let's get him on this bike right here. So these are 1/18th scale vehicles, and what I have always found is that 1/18th scale vehicles are supposed to be in scale with G.I. Joe figures, but they usually are not. They're usually undersized. 1/18th scale cars will rarely fit a G.I. Joe. And it's usually the seat that's the issue. There's just not enough room to have the Joe sit on the seat. The head will hit the roof. I don't think it's going to be as much of an issue with a motorcycle. So let's see if you can actually straddle this thing. Well, he's a little undersized actually for this thing. The modern figures are just a little taller than the vintage figures. So the modern Zartan might actually look better on this. He doesn't really have to straddle it, he just has to reach his feet. On there goes his backpack. And this is where the bendy handles really come in handy. Trying to fit the hands over top of the handles without snapping anything. And I'm not going to force the hands over top of those handles because Zartan's thumbs are a lot more brittle than this bike is. Well, that's Zartan on his motorcycle. Now I just got to figure out who gets what now. It's just kind of a question of taking a look at the bike and then deciding who suits what. This is one of the larger bikes right here, so I would think Road Pig. This one would be good for Road Pig since he's one of the larger Dreadnoks. And plop him on top here. Yeah, the 3 3/4 vintage Joes seem to just be a little bit on the small side for them. I think these will work better with the modern figures, which is how I was planning on displaying them. I like having my figures on stands at the front of the shelf, so I was going to just keep the Dreadnoks on their stands and then have the modern versions of them on their bikes. The Road Pig. There's a pig on a hog. I think I'll give this one that has the red stripes on the front and back to Monkey Wrench. This guy has some major stiff knees. Whew. Way too stiff. It's another thing I love about the modern G.I. Joes. They're a lot more durable. I won't have any issue getting the hands over top of the handlebars, over top of the handles with the modern figures because they have the gummy hands. But just for the sake of showing you what this would look like if you're curious. There's Monkey Wrench. And the red does go really nicely. It's got the red bandana on his leg, the red vest. And it's pretty dark, but red on the motorcycle there. And then we got these three, which I'll give to the original 3 Dreadnoks, not including Zartan, Torch, Ripper, and Buzzer. And since Torch has the black vest, I think I'll give him one of the 2 motorcycles that's all black. Which one though? This one. It's really not that huge or important a decision. And the more of these I do, the more I'm going to recommend using the modern figures for these. No, I haven't even tried one yet, because they really don't like sitting on these motorcycles. Let's do Buzzer next. Give Buzzer the big chrome one. Gotta always watch out for those crotch pieces. They can snap on you if you try to have the figure straddle something like a motorcycle. Oh, get the feet straight up. And another black bike for Ripper, who's got the black mohawk. And these two bikes, Rippers and Torches, require the figure to kind of lean forward just a little bit more than the others. And this one is really leaning to the side with a kickstand out. Nice thing about this one is that it has really thin handles. You can actually just slide a figure's hands over top without breaking them. That's a good fit, except for the crazy lean to the side on it. And the last two are Zartan's brother and sister. All the other Dreadnoks have their own vehicles, like the Thunder Machine for Thrasher, and I got Nagahide in the Swamp Fire, or whatever it's called. But these are also Maisto bikes. So let's open up this one. Should be more of the same. And it's actually sealed to the back of the card. So I thought this one would look good for Zarana, having a little bit of pink on it, dark pink, but should go with her outfit. And it's got a nice stand on it. And I thought this one would go well with Xandar, because of the blue on it. It's not an exact match, but it's a blue, which is better than like a purple bike. And yeah, these feel just like these Harleys. Well, that's actually really cool that these ended up being Maisto as well. So even though they're not Harley-Davidson, it's still same quality, same price range. And let's saddle up Xandar and Zarana. And a really nice thing that I'm noticing about all these bikes is that they can wear their backpacks while they're on the bike. Backpacks aren't in the way. And finally Xandar. This one's got kind of thin handles as well, but not quite thin enough for his hands. Well, one solution that I've found for the kickstand giving the bike too much a lean is just taking a G.I. Joe stand and placing it under the kickstand. And here they all are on their Harley-Davidsons and two other bikes, all saddled up. That looks awesome. Now these figures are really not sturdy on these bikes. It does not take much to knock them off. So I'm just going to get a couple more shots of these guys all on the bikes, just for the sake of showing what it looks like. And then I'm going to swap them all out and put some of the modern figures on, and hoping that the sizing is a little better and being able to grip the handle is going to help a lot too. see how the modern figures do on the bikes. One of the advantages that the modern figures have is that the knee has a double bend in it, so it can either bend this way, or if you want to make it a little shorter, you can bend it that way. Pop them on the seat, and get the hands over the handles. Big difference. Fits a lot better. So I'm having a little trouble getting fully seated. Oh, there we go. Got to extend those arms. Can't have the any bend in the elbows. And look at that, the feet actually are going all the way down where they're supposed to. So that's a rare case of a 1/18th scale vehicle being actually the perfect size for modern figure. Because 1/18th scale vehicles are usually too big for the 3 3/4 figures, 3 3/4 inch figures, let alone the 4-inch modern figures. Looks like Zartan could stand to have just slightly longer arms, but it works. Next up is his sister, Zorana. The knife in the side there, and once again the hands fit perfectly over the handles. You don't have to worry about breaking the figure's hands. You don't have to worry about breaking the bike. It's a good thing they use such floppy plastic, because even this thing right here feels like it could be breaking. Get the feet wherever you want them. There's even a spot in the back here if you want someone to ride behind her. It's a perfect fit. Feet go where they're supposed to. Sitting flush on the seat. Hands are hanging on. And a lot more secure on there than the vintage figure was. And we'll give Xandar his blue bike again, and this is where this double jointed knee will really come in handy. Shorten those lower legs just a little bit. Put the hands on there. Or feed it through. Love the posability in these modern figures. You can get them to sit perfectly on a motorcycle. Do on the other side too. Oh, that's awesome. The ankle pivot really comes in handy to get the boots down on the bottom there. That's really cool. Or if you want them to be standing, you can extend one foot out, put one foot on the bike. That looks great too. That's fantastic. Actually, that's the best way to display these figures, is to have one foot on the ground like that, since you've got the ankle tilt. It's a little harder to do with Zartan's bike though. It's a really big bike. Foot is just almost touching the ground there. Close enough. Next is Monkey Wrench. In case you're wondering, this was a custom 1/18th scale pair of sunglasses from eBay years ago, and I've never been able to find any more of them. It's a short run by a customizer. And with the placement of the handles here, really wants to like lean forward on it. Put the foot up on one side and the leg down on the other. Okay, this bike really sucks. Watch out for the bike with the red stripes on it. It's he's supposed to be sitting back there The arms are just too short. You have to kind of lean them forward, which then makes it hard for the leg to... You can't get him to grab the handles and to get his leg up. He kind of just has to straddle the bike and have his both feet on the ground. This is giving me the most trouble of all these bikes. Next is Road Pig on the big bike. And he's a big boy. He's got no problems grabbing onto this bike. It's actually a larger body for this figure. And this can clip on the arm here. As a shield. That looks really, really cool. Road Pig was meant to be on a motorcycle. Fantastic. And we got Buzzer next. This particular figure, the early modern figures had a wider crotch, which made it harder for them to sit. And there was a running change on them, which allowed more straight forward leg position. And this looks like a bit of an awkward fit again, in order to get the hands on the handles as well as the feet where they're supposed to go. Still looks better scaled than the vintage figures though. Get one foot on the ground here. And can I get this leg up onto here? Something moving in here. Not quite. It's that crotch piece is making it a little difficult. Fit that foot on there. Well, it's close enough. Just two more, Ripper and Torch. I forget which one goes on which because these bikes look fairly similar. And that one's a perfect fit. And the last one is Torch. Get his knees into position. And he fits perfect too. Even got a little leg holster for his flamethrower. And there we go, the whole Dreadnok gang with their own motorcycles. And a really important thing for the displayers out there, even though toys aren't just for display, they're for play, is that they're good and sturdy. Not gonna fall over. Having them on a motorcycle looks so much better than on a chameleon, swamp skier, or on the big Dreadnok tricycle, which really looks, I mean, it is a toy, but it really looks like a toy next to these beautiful, some of them gleaming Harleys. So if you're interested in picking some of these up, I see them at Toys R Us in Canada all the time, and Walmart maybe in the States, or Target. They're probably all over the place, but if you were curious about the quality and the detail of them and the durability, hopefully this answers some of your questions. I think they're awesome. Price can't be beat for the durability and the quality of them, and I'm looking forward to putting my Dreadnok shelf together and finally having a whole bunch of bikes for this biker gang. Thanks for checking out the video, much appreciated. To join the tribe, hit subscribe, and until next time, Nerd Mistake.